So in this section, we want to talk about price action and trading philosophy. So to start off, we're going to talk about markets and exchanges. So we build our way into talking about how price action really matters and how it affects the price of any financial product that we trade. So first off, what's a market? Well, a market is just going to be an area or arena in which commercial dealings are conducted. What does that mean? It means it's just a place where you can go and exchange product for cash. Now, we all know of a bunch of different markets, like a grocery market, where you go and you buy your groceries. Or an electronics market, where you go and you buy electronics. Or a stock market, where you go and you buy stocks. Now, these markets aren't all the same. When we're looking at something like a electronics market or a grocery market, the prices set at these markets are set by the seller. So if you go to a grocery store and you want to buy some bananas, well, bananas are going to be at a set price, maybe, 59 cents per kilo. So that's the price that they're selling. You can either accept it or reject it and go back home empty-handed. Now, it's not the same thing with other markets. For example, in a stock market or cryptocurrency market, this market is not a regular market. It's an auction-based market. What this means is that the prices are set by both buyers and sellers simultaneously, which allows for price discovery, for buyers and sellers to both decide on what the correct price should be for a product. Now, if you would have went back to, let's say, a grocery store, if a grocery store was an auction market, then what you would have had buyers that want to buy a product and sellers who want to sell a product. So instead of the store selling bananas at 59 cents, you might have a bunch of different people, each holding their bananas, and each of them screaming what price do you want to sell it at. Maybe one person wants to sell them $1 a kilo. Somebody else wants to sell $2 a kilo. Somebody else $3 a kilo. And then you would have buyers on the other side, all screaming what price they're willing to buy at. And whenever a buyer and a seller agree on the same price, then they can execute and transact the bananas for cash. That would be an auction market, which isn't the case because it would be pretty hectic. But when you're looking at a stock exchange or a cryptocurrency exchange, it is an auction market. And this is why if you watch any videos from, the 80s and the 90s, where you look at the stock exchange and you see a lot of people screaming because they want to buy and a lot of people screaming because they want to sell, those are people who are, they're brokers. They are trying to purchase or sell equity for their clients, for people, right? Now, it doesn't happen like this anymore. Now it's all automated. So there's no brokers on the floor. You send your orders and it goes directly to the exchange and you transact with one another. Now, how is this done? It's done through an exchange. Okay, so the market is really what you call the whole thing. An exchange is going to be a particular store for that market. For example, if you want to buy, let's say, a Apple laptop, well, you have to go to an electronic market. But which one? Apple laptops aren't sold at all stores. They're sold at specific stores. So you might have to go to an Apple store or a different type of store that has that, right? If you want to buy, I don't know, vegan, whatever, something that's not sold at every grocery store. So even though it is a food and it's a product, well, it might not be available at 7-Eleven. You might have to go to Whole Foods. So that's what an exchange is. An exchange is a location, a store where the product that you want is available. So the definition here is an exchange is an organized market where tradable securities are bought and sold. An exchange is responsible for matching orders efficiently as well as disseminating price quotes quickly. So you have different exchanges. Okay, so if we're looking at the cryptocurrency market, well, if you want to buy a specific cryptocurrency, like let's say Ethereum or Ethereum Classic or whatever currency you want, where are you going to be able to buy it? Yes, I understand there is the cryptocurrency market, but where exactly? Well, you have a bunch of different exchanges. Okay, you have Binance, Upbit, Huobi, Huobi Pro, Bittrex, BitHump, all of these exchanges. You have maybe like 1,000 exchanges out there. There's so many exchanges available that it's ridiculous. So which exchange are you going to go to buy your product? Well, it depends. not all cryptocurrencies are listed on all exchanges. So some exchanges are going to have some cryptos and not the others. And some exchanges might have way more than others. Some exchanges might not have a lot. So which exchanges should you use? Well, it depends. It depends on the coins you want to trade, and you also want to trade on an exchange that's very liquid, that has a lot of people who are trading on it. Because if you go on an unknown exchange, then what's going to happen? There's not going to be a lot of buyers and sellers, and you might have a hard time getting a good price for the product that you want. Because remember, if a similar product or the same product is on two different exchanges, it doesn't mean it has to trade at the same price. The prices could be slightly different, okay? And this is why there's arbitrageurs, people who are going to buy something on one exchange and send it to another exchange and sell it on the other exchange. That's what arbitrageurs do. Now, the exchanges that I'm going to recommend, or the exchanges that I use, I actually have exchanges at the top 12 exchanges. I have accounts at the top 12 exchanges. But the ones that I mostly use are Binance, which I use because I feel their security is very strong. Again, but something that you have to be careful of is that regardless of how strong it is, any exchange can be hacked, and there's always a risk with leaving your money at the exchange. So when you're actively trading, keep your money at the exchange to actively trade. But if you're not actively trading, take it out and put it on your wallet, because there's always a risk of something happening with the exchange and you losing your capital. So Binance is the one that I mostly use. The other ones that I use are going to be Bittrex and Bitfinex. Bitfinex I really like because we can short. I'm going to talk about shorting later on, but shorting is something that I often do. So Bitfinex and Binance are my two main exchanges. Okay. Now, if you ever want to buy a cryptocurrency and you don't know on which exchange it is, you can just go on coinmarketcap.com, click on the coin you want. So if you want Tezos, you can click on it, and then you can click on markets, and then you'll see which exchanges you can trade it on. So for this one, if you have an account with Bitfinex, you can buy it on Bitfinex or on any of these other exchanges. So that way, if you want to buy something, where you can buy it. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. If you are going to be actively trading, I highly suggest opening an account with Binance and Bitfinex and even Bittrex. And that does it for this lecture. So I'll see you guys in the next one.